Hey everyone, I'm coming to you from 10th Legion, Virginia. 10th Legion is located between the town of Newmarket and the city of Harrisonburg in the Shenandoah Valley along the Valley Pike. I'm standing in front of the Bethlehem Stone Church. This church was built in 1845 and has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Department of the Interior. This church has a lot of Civil War history. In March of 1862, there are going to be 18 Brethren and Mennonite men who were captured in Moorefield, Virginia. It's now West Virginia, but at the time they were captured, it was Virginia. They're captured by Confederate soldiers as they are trying to escape conscription into the Confederate Army. They're brought from Moorefield to Woodstock, Virginia, which is north of us here on the Valley Pike. And then they are marched south toward the city of Harrisonburg. During that march, they will stay here in the Bethlehem Stone Church. And while they're spending the night here, one of those men will write on a beam inside. I believe he writes the date and probably his name and maybe the name of the others on the beam, and one of the beams inside the church. Now, the church is closed right now, but you can call and get a tour of the church, which I plan to do at some point. So that's kind of a neat little bit of history you don't really hear about. But there's more that happens here at the Bethlehem Church. In May of 1862, General Stonewall Jackson's army will camp in the fields around the church. Being the religious man he is, I'm sure Stonewall Jackson probably went into the church at some point to pray, even if it was briefly. And, it's just, as you look around, there's a lot of houses and stuff here. But if you imagine in May of 1862, thousands of Confederate troops in these fields, it's just kind of an amazing thing to think about. The next event that happens really is kind of throughout the war. This church is going to be used as a hospital. There's going to be soldiers brought here several times after several big campaigns here in the valley. Campaigns even as far as Gettysburg. Some of the troops are going to be, when they get here, they're going to stop here and be placed in here and cared for. But the big action that happens here is in September of 1864, specifically September 24th of 1864. Across the street here, actually up here on the hill, is going to be General Gordon's troops. About where this old schoolhouse, which has been converted into a house, is going to be General Wharton's troops. And across the Valley Pike, over this way, is going to be Generals Pegram and Ramser's troops. Ramser will be the Confederate right flank. The Confederate left will be General Gordon's men. They will be set up here in a defensive position, as they have done since the Battle of Fisher's Hill, which they lost. They will be retreating up the valley towards Stanton, which is south, and they will be setting up defensive positions along the way. They've set up defensive positions at Mount Jackson, at Rude's Hill, at Newmarket, and now 10th Legion. While they're here, Union artillery is going to move around the left flank of the Confederate Army. And we can't really see them, but there's a hill called Cannon Hill. It would be past where we're at, across Interstate 81. And then kind of back southwest of the church here is going to be another artillery position that Union soldiers are going to set up. And they're going to start to bombard this area. The church is actually going to suffer damage from that attack. There will be some skirmishing here. But that's the Confederates will then continue their retreat towards Stanton. And basically, until October, there will be no major fighting here in the Shenandoah Valley. There will be burning of the Shenandoah Valley occurring during that time as General Phil Sheridan continues to push south and then turns around and goes north in the valley, burning crops and livestock and things like that as he goes. So this is a really neat place to be. As you can see, it's pretty developed. Not a major battle that happens here, but a lot of Civil War activity that happens here at this little church. So you never know what you're going to find. I encourage you to just get on the Valley Pike if you're here in Virginia and just drive from really Stanton all the way up to Winchester. You'll see a lot of cool stuff, a lot of battlefields saved by the Shenandoah Valley Battlefields Foundation. A lot of Civil War trails markers. So if you get a chance, definitely do that, and keep looking out for history. Thanks for watching.